Hey B,
Hi,
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are your knees feeling?
They're all right.
Whereabouts is it sore?
It's like here at the top of the knee, and then it kind of sometimes goes underneath, and sometimes like around here in the inside. But it's mainly like when I'm working out, I can like feel it. I think it's like the quad tendon that is like really.
You must be super careful about it.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if Mark's jumping on. He might possibly be. Let me ask him. But if you guys have any questions, you can shoot them at me.
Right now,
Go for it.
my question is,
Yes.
are you remembering to tell your mum that you love her?
I am.
Very good.
Yes, no, I haven't seen my parents in too terribly long, but I do talk to them often, and I do tell my parents I love them.
Aw.
That's good.
Are they in South Africa?
No, so my mum and my dad live in the UK. They live in Guildford,
Oh, okay.
but my sister, she stays in South Africa. So it's just the four of us. She's still in South Africa, and then my mum and dad are here.
Oh, okay.
You
that's
not live
nice.
with them?
Pardon?
You not live with your parents?
I used to. I actually moved to Farnham about the same day that lockdown happened. Because I obviously was going to start working full time at the gym. So I decided to move here, had enough money to move here, got my own apartment, and then lockdown happened. But I thought it was just a waste, and I quite enjoy staying by myself, so I stay by myself.
Oh,
Nice.
All right, Mark is coming. He will be here in 1 minute, but you guys can continue on if you have any other questions.
Georgia,
Pardon?
tell us about your better half.
My boyfriend. So my boyfriend, he stays in South Africa as well. He is Afrikaans. I don't know if you guys know what Afrikaans is.
mm-hmm.
So
I was
it's
wondering where your accent was from, actually, and that is it, isn't it?
that's when I say ja. I can speak a little bit of Afrikaans.
Get it? Yeah.
So if you ever hear me say anything like, I can't say it because it's a little bit naughty, but sometimes I'll swear in Afrikaans just because it's like second nature.
Mm.
But anyway, so yeah, I met him at a gym. He's a personal trainer. Shocker. And yeah, so we've been together for about a year. He's a little bit older than me. I don't know what type of stuff do you want to know?
Oh,
Is this question time for gym training, or is it your question time?
Personal questions, anything. There's the question. The Q&A on Thursday evening is more related to training.
Oh, I got muddled up. Okay.
But by all means,
I got my list of injuries that I was going to ask you all about. I'll do that on Thursday.
save those questions for Thursday.
Okay, so my question for you, Georgia, is, it was going to be where's your accent from, but are we going to get to see any of your ballet?
Ooh.
How do we do
I'm not
ballet
so
for?
sure about
Do
that.
you ballet?
I do ballet. I started when I was super duper young and did it. I stopped about a year ago. When I started CrossFit, I stopped ballet. But no, I'm not so sure whether I'll whip out any of my skills.
What sort of ballet did you do? Was it classical or was it sort of modern?
Classical. It's called RAD, Royal Academy of Dance. It's just a genre of ballet. You get different ones. I did that. But yeah, CrossFit took over.
You don't miss it at all, do you?
Sometimes, but it's like anything. If you had a love for it once, you might look back on it and say, that was actually such a great time. I do miss it, but more I miss how it made me feel than miss actually doing it. Because if I did that and not did CrossFit, I would miss CrossFit.
Yeah. Have you
Does
seen
that make sense?
Swan? You've seen the film Black Swan?
Oh, it's incredible.
Powerful, isn't it? Yeah. You went through as a ballet dancer.
Yes.
Tough. Oh.
Any other questions, guys?
So Georgia,
Yes.
when did you get into CrossFit?
Yep.
And what made you decide to get into CrossFit?
So I got into CrossFit last year, February, so not very long ago. I know, it's not long ago. I was quite surprised how not so long ago it was. Why I got into it, so at the time, I've always been quite into fitnessy things. Obviously, I did ballet, did lots of running. I trained a little bit when I was young at school. I did all of the sports, but I was absolutely shocking at all of them. And I was going through not a very fantastic time in my life. So I decided to homeschool. So I was at home quite a bit of time. It was my final year of high school. So matric for us, last year of A-levels for you guys. I just met my boyfriend and I used fitness as an escape. I didn't like to deal with my emotions, so that's what I used it for. And that thought that I could push myself to beyond what I thought I was capable of was really attractive for me. I quite liked that idea. So tried it out, loved the intensity, loved that I was never good enough, loved I could keep on building up skills. It humbled me a lot because I thought I was fantastic and I was definitely not. And I just loved the whole concept of it, the fitness side, the health side. And I kind of engrossed myself with the whole CrossFit thing, and it's been stuck since then.
I can't get over it. It's just over a year you've got into it because you are such a professional coach and you know about it. It just feels like you've been in it for years. I know how old you are and it's like, how can that be? But that is absolutely amazing. It's also a little bit gutting because I started at the gym a year past February and I know what you lift compared to what I can lift. There's a big difference between us. And I'm like, I can't believe this. I've got to do more work.
Oh no, but I think because I was at home a lot and I prioritized training a lot over work. I shouldn't have, but I did. I spent probably 3-4 hours a day just training, not just like hardcore training, but being in that environment. I spent a lot of time with my boyfriend at his gym, so I got all of that information quite a lot of times. So I think it wasn't difficult for me to slot into this kind of profession.
Plus, she's only 15.
16.
You know you were there, Mark.
My games will be a lot quicker than ours.
Pardon?
I was just saying, like, your games will happen a lot quicker than, not in like a rude way, but like there's a massive age difference between Georgia and Dave.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? Things just take longer. That's the same problem. Still
Yeah.
get on the games, Dave. We just have to be more patient with it.
Yeah. I'll use the age card every time then.
I already do. I'm only 30.
I actually think that George has got an element of superhero inside.
Superman. Don't tell anyone my secrets.
You're so powerful. I can't get over. I mean, the first time I met you, when you just like, you elevated onto a box. You didn't even jump. You just like...
I think ballet probably was a massive help for all of my explosive strength. I think that helped because I've done that forever. So all of the springy things.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, I've got that ingrained in me. Anything to do with upper body, I'm not very good at though. So if I've got to do pull-ups, anything like that, just look the other direction.
No.
Should we go through the questions on the people who put on Facebook?
Yeah.
If you're keen for that, I'll just read them out and then Georgia can chat away. So Jenny Pink has asked, at what age did you start exercising? When did you start exercising?
Well, I've done ballet since I was about 3.
Yeah.
But that's like very not serious, running in circles, looking like fairies, that type of stuff.
Can we have a picture of that?
I will try and find one. I wasn't the most attractive child, obviously, because I got quite curly hair and it was very short, so I looked like I had an afro when I was younger. So I'll try and find some of those. I don't know if I'll be able to.
How long did you do ballet for, George?
So I stopped about January last year.
Okay.
So about 15 plus years.
Oh, nice.
A while. But always done other things, like I ran a lot, played hockey, did athletics, used to compete in hurdles. At school did hurdles, high jump, long jump, all those type of things. Netball. I never swam. I drown. But I've exercised most of my life.
Have you done any of those things recently, or is it all CrossFit now?
Well, because like hockey and all those type of stuff.
Yeah, hockey, running, and any of the other things that you mentioned.
So I still run hockey occasionally. Our family's got a bit of a hockey thing. My mom loves it. My sister also competed. She went overseas for hockey. So we've got hockey sticks at our house. So if my sister's home, if my mom's keen, then we'll go out into the garden and we'll just hit some balls. And if there's ever a hockey field, we'll sure to make good use of that. Netball, not anymore. But yeah, so here and there.
Jamie, you play hockey, don't you?
I play roller hockey, yeah. I
Yeah.
play the cool one where you have roller skates on.
That is cool.
It is flipping cool. I'm going to try still.
Haven't done it for ages, though.
Jenny's got quite a few questions. Next one is, how come you ended up coming to the UK?
So my dad actually grew up in Farnham. My grandparents live here. They've always lived here. So he grew up here, went to school here. You know the college at the top of the hill in Farnham?
Yeah.
He went to school there. There's a little preschool right opposite Enchanted Woods. What's it called? Challengers?
Yeah.
He went to school there. So, and then, I don't know if you guys know this, you probably don't. There used to be an old jewelry shop called Alexander's in town. My granddad used to own that. It's now Gale's Bakery, so that building. So lots of history, family history here. Anyway, he moved to South Africa, met my mom, 1+2, we stayed there, grew up there. But if you guys know anything about the economic state in South Africa, it is not fantastic. So my dad, a few years back, decided that it might be a good idea for us to move this side, just because there's no opportunity for my sister or myself to get a job, have a successful career in South Africa. So he looked for a job this side, found one, he moved over, and then slowly but surely my mom moved over, and then I moved over, and then hopefully my sister's going to move over at the end of the year, hopefully. But that's the reason why we moved over to the UK.
Fair enough. Good enough reason. Next one from Jenny. She's got loads of questions for you. How do you keep your hair so amazingly curly?
Can I tell you a secret? I have not brushed it today. I let it be.
Very natural.
I let it be.
Okay, Lorna's question. Do not talk about this for an hour, Georgia, because this will probably take you an hour to describe it. What training schedule do you follow? How did you get to the fitness level you are at? And then there's one about sport, which you've done already. So basically, what training schedule do you follow?
All right, so currently I follow a program called Prepared Programming. It's an awesome program. You can find it on the internet. It's programmed by a guy called Phil Hesketh. He's a games athlete. Mark's done that beforehand. He can tell you more about it. Fantastic programming, lots in it.
Sorry, it's what the class follows. Basically, it's the comp version of the classes.
Yeah, I've done that for a little bit now, just so I have a bit of structure to my training. If I program for myself, I overtrain. I train for like 6 hours a day, so not a good idea. So for me, I enjoy that, so I don't overtrain. But besides that, I will probably train twice a day, hour in the morning, hour and a half in the afternoon. My focus at the moment in time is strength training, putting on a little bit of size because I'm a skinny little shit. Not so much conditioning. And yeah, so that's practically how I train now. It might change in the future. Play it by ear, but strength training, that type of stuff, CrossFit in general. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. The program that we follow in CrossFit, basically it's just a little bit more like extra volume. So it's basically what you guys do in the classes, but just with obviously just a bit of extra stuff on top, just because we have a bit more time to do it. So some of the workouts are the same, some of the lifting's the same, so it is very similar. So it's quite cool that the coaches pretty much do the same, plus obviously a little bit extra than the members, which is cool. John Copeland's asked, what do you miss about South Africa and what do you like about the UK?
So what I like about the UK, I'll start with that one, is it is super safe. I think you guys not take for granted, but the UK is very safe. You guys have a fantastic government here. Everything works. You never have, I don't know if you know what it is, but you never have load shedding. Your water never gets cut. Well, load shedding is, I'll explain that in a second, but it just like your country works. I know you have some problems here and there, but in general, it works. I love that. And there's so many opportunities. In South Africa, if you didn't go to university like I haven't, you would not get a job at all. At all. So here, it's more of the norm for people to get work without having to go to university, and there's more avenues you can take to have a successful career. Load shedding, if you don't know what it is our like electricity people, they're called Eskom. They did not look after our electricity like grids and stuff. So we actually don't have enough electricity to power the whole of the country. So sometimes what they have to do is they'll shut certain sections of the country's electricity off so they can power other sections. So we have a timetable when our electricity will be on, when it will be off at certain times of the year. So not great. But what I miss most about South Africa is the warmth, 100% the warmth. And the vibe in South Africa is a lot different to here, because it's the type of culture that I grew up with. I miss that. Having, you know how you've got British humor, which only Brits understand, and then South Africans, we've got our own little, our way of communicating, how we speak with each other, and that type of vibe. I miss that a lot. And then obviously my boyfriend and my sister, but that's besides the point.
Cool.
And the food.
And what, sorry?
And the food.
Where Jules has asked, what do you enjoy most, i.e. weights, cardio? So basically, what type of training do you prefer? So like gymnastics, lifting?
So I am a little bit of a cardio junkie. I absolutely love long workouts where it's just grind for like 40 minutes non-stop. You feel like your soul's gonna melt into pieces. Love it. You feel epic at the end. But recently, I did a program called Weightlifting 101. I did it with Lucy, where it was just weightlifting most of the time, no cardio at all. Initially, I found it quite difficult, but I now very much like strength training. So I'm a bit 50-50. Gymnastics is also fun, but I'm not very good at it, so it's not my favorite. But I promise, I'm sure if I get amazing at it, then I'll love it because you're good at it. You love what you're good at, right? So strength training and conditioning is a bit of a 50-50.
Cool. Nice big mix. Do you want to do any comps in the future?
150%. I was supposed to do one, but it got cancelled. But 100%.
Was that Battle of Britain?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Oh, who's your inspiration? If you have anyone, you might not have anyone.
So I don't really have an athlete that inspires me. I don't really like to look up to certain people because they're them and I'm very different to other people. So I don't look up to one specific person, but what people do inspires me to be a better person, if that makes sense, but not just in training. So if someone does something and achieves something in their field of expertise, because I find this is my field of expertise, it will inspire me to be better at what I do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. John Copeland's asked, if you could have dinner with anyone, famous or otherwise, who would it be? Very random question from John.
I would probably have dinner with Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
That would probably be my best bet. So, slight side topic, I have met him once before he died. You guys probably don't know, his granddaughter went to the school that I was at, so we did a Nelson Mandela thing, and then he came to see that, so we all got to shake his hand, not for very long,
cool.
5 seconds, and then walk off. But I'd probably have dinner with him.
Oh, awesome. The other one was, did you play sports at school, or did you just do ballet, netball? Yeah. There are all the questions off the Facebook page, so it's basically just a free-for-all now. Go on, Dave, attack. Yeah, guys, just fire any questions over.
Where in South Africa did you live?
I grew up in Johannesburg. So city centre is like London of South Africa. City life.
Not the greatest bit, is it really?
Do you know what? Because I didn't grow up by the beach, I didn't know any different. I loved it, full stop.
Yeah.
I had a fantastic childhood. And there's still lots of space in Joburg. So I couldn't complain. I loved it.
Yeah.
How are you so white?
Pardon?
It's so white.
Oh, I know, I'm so pale, hey?
Going from B with her super tan.
I think I am. I have lost a bit of my tan. But
I live in Africa, so I can be pale.
Very true.
I don't know. If I get tanned very quickly, but I lose my tan very fast as well.
I'm jealous. I just
B's got tan envy.
yeah. I would be like, if I would go there, I would be there for like a day and I'd be red and I wouldn't be able to go outside.
SPF 50. I've never seen that before until I came here. SPF 50.
You said this the other day, didn't you? Was it the other day you said it?
Yeah, I have SPF like 5. I've never seen SPF 50.
Georgia, I'm Scottish, and if I go past the microwave and it's on, I get a thunder.
The lights get too bright. Oh, that's great. We even have like specific oil that we put on our skin to make us tan faster.
Okay.
So instead of protecting our skin, we'll whack on some oil to make us tan fast. I'm sure it'll give you cancer, but...
Baby oil.
Right.
Luke knows about that. Baby oil in Afghan. That's the standard thing that people get on.
Georgia,
Yep.
what's your goal? Like, you've started coaching career, you just started training CrossFit. Like, why? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be in 20 years' time? What's Georgia doing in 20 years?
So optimistically, my optimistic goal, and this is very optimistic, I'm sure 95% of people that train CrossFit are going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you it anyway. I do have optimistic dreams of one day competing at a high-ish level, whether that would be sanctionals, whatever. Don't know if I'll make it to the games, but something along those lines. I do have, I want to put my feet into the water of competing. Whether I'll be good enough, no idea, but that's an optimistic goal. Coaching, I want to continue coaching because I want to be in this environment. CrossFit, I love. I don't think I'll leave it anytime soon. I don't really plan ahead. I kind of go with the flow. So other than that, I wouldn't be able to tell you. So that's the plan.
Do you have any hobbies outside of CrossFit?
Hobbies. So I really like baking.
Okay.
I don't
bake cakes for the gym.
I don't bake very often, but I do quite enjoy it. I don't like eating baked goods, but I like baking it for other people. I like the methodology and all that jazz. I really like, and I'm going to sound like such a nerd, but I'm very into like math and science and all of that stuff. So reading up about that, kind of like other hobbies, not really. I'm not a very, hey? Pardon, Mark?
I was say, so if you baked a cake at home, you wouldn't eat it. You would just give it to someone else.
Yeah.
Would you actually?
Yep.
Yeah, I can relate with that because that's what I do.
That's what I do.
I made pancakes the other day and I didn't get to eat any of them. I just made them all and everyone else ate them.
Is that for the kids?
Oh, no, it was for Yuri and for my son, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
Me and Dave are like.
I have a slice of the cake, so I relate to that. I get that, Georgia.
But I've got a very bad relationship with my food, so.
Fair enough.
I think it's healthy. Bake a cake, you see what goes in it, and then you just say you can go and get a fat.
I always say it's tactic for anyone that asks.
But it's lovely just making it right from scratch, isn't it? And then you see what goes in
it is. I always tell my parents and my sister that it's tactic. I'm going to make them super fat, so I look super thin, even if I'm not, compared to them.
So Georgia, if you wouldn't eat a cake that you made, do you have some other like weakness food that you can't resist?
So it's going to sound super not like weakness, because some people will say that this is a healthy food.
You dare say a protein bar or something.
It's a protein bar. I absolutely love them. I absolutely love protein bars, but I quite like the like stodgy ones. I don't like the fruity ones, like the nut type ones. But because they're sweet, they're amazing, they're chocolatey, I can binge a box of protein bars like nothing. Like nothing. So that's if I buy a box, I'm going to keep it somewhere very far away from me so I don't find it. So that's my naughty pleasure. And biltong is another one.
If you're living on your own, then how are you sort of like doing your meals? Are you just sort of sitting on your own and eating, or do you get joined up with friends and have dinner through Zoom or anything?
So normally when I eat dinner, I'll probably just like scroll through Instagram or something like that. But I have FaceTimed my boyfriend once, but it didn't go very nicely down because both of us are sitting there eating. Just silence while we chew our food. But I don't terribly mind being by myself. I don't find it that off-putting. I quite like
survive it. You look amazing on it, to be honest.
I enjoy the silence. It's nice.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I love silence.
Yeah.
Apart from when I'm working out, then it's got to be loud.
Yes, 100%. Worst thing is working out in silence.
Oh God, I had to do it once and I just didn't have the energy. I was just like, oh, there's no beat, nothing. Just that doesn't push you along at all, does it?
It does. Get your mind off of it.
For the mental game, Nina, no music.
Maybe that's a challenge to all try and do it with no music. That would be a hard one.
Some people do it, don't they? Some like top athletes will be like, no music, because then it helps with your mind, your mental game.
Yeah.
No noise.
The worst is when you're...
That song that we like, Georgia.
Yeah?
That one that, I can't remember what, that funny little voice that I always like.
Oh man, I do know what you're talking about. I've got it in iTunes. You continue on and I'll find it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The questions are for you.
Oh man, what's it called? I'll think of it.
Yeah, don't worry. But that's the one that really gets me going on it.
I know I have it on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember the name.
You're going to remember it, and then you're going to be singing it all in your head all day.
So Georgia, I've been talking to Jen about this, and I made a comment about Lucy the other day. Do you ever you never appear to be down, right? You always seem to be super bubbly. You know, you always say this is a really super workout, and I know it's going to be really hard, so the rest of us are going to be dead at the end of it. But do you have bad training days? Do you have days where it all goes pear-shaped? And if you do, how do you pick yourself back up from that?
So I do. I have them quite often, very often, in fact. My weakness is my mindset. 100% is my mindset. I've always, that's always been a factor for me. Even my boyfriend now tells me I've got terrible mindset. I have massive self-doubt. I overthink things massively. So I put on a facade with you guys. I am happy most of the time, but internally it might not be the same thing. So if I do have a bad training day, which it does happen, Mark's been with me on occasions where I've sworn in the gym when I didn't get something that I wanted to
bugger.
Once when there was a class going on,
yeah,
Mark was like, Georgia.
Oh yeah, she's always like, you always say the same thing. Was it fucks or something?
Oh,
it's always the same. Yeah, that's it. So we're all adults. Every time.
So when I have moments like that, one thing that I try and focus on is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and what I want to achieve from what I'm doing. If I don't do it, I want to think, if I'm upset with myself after this, I can only be upset with myself for letting myself down. And I've just got to pick myself up. And even if it's not pleasant, I just want to finish it, know that I've gotten it done, and continue on. But mindset for me is a continual battle. I by no means have achieved success of being able to control how I think about my things. 95% of the time, I actually don't want to, like I'll say I don't want to train right now, I'm not feeling up to it. But 5 minutes in, I'll put some music on because I don't have good mindset. And then I get into it and then I feel fantastic afterwards. But if I have to suggest on any ways on dealing with your mindset, is just remind yourself, why are you doing it? What's the purpose of it? You doing it? How amazing are you going to feel once you've completed it? What's your goal? What's your objective? And let that drive you. Let that be your motivation. If you have no goal, no objective, then you need to find one, and let that be what pushes you on.
Okay.
But I'm not the person to don't take after me, because I let myself down a lot.
I was about to say, so if you say you have a bad session, say you trained at like in the morning, would that affect your whole day, or can you kind of like brush it off and kind of like to get on with the rest of the day?
So I used to let it affect me. I used to let it overwhelm me. I wasn't going to be good enough. I was never going to be fantastic. But then it just used to become so consuming, especially when I started CrossFit. My boyfriend's a lot fitter than I am, and I used to get really irritated with that. I didn't want him to be better than I am. I wanted to be the greatest. And that used to really upset me, like massively so. And then for the rest of the day, I would be a grumpy little shit. And I kind of thought to myself, there's no point in getting upset about it. I trained. From training, I'm going to get better. Whether I'm the best now or not, I'm doing something to help me. And I know I say I get upset quite easily, but there's nothing to get upset about. You should not. There's no reason at any time in your life to be upset. Even if something bad happens, there's still something to be happy about. So I don't let my training become all consuming. It's only one aspect of my life. So yeah, I normally bounce back quite easily.
So have a mood for a couple of hours and then back to normal. That's what most people do. That's what I do anyway.
Yeah, but you can't have bad sessions. You can't have good sessions without having bad sessions.
Sorry, say that again.
you can't have like amazing moments or amazing sessions without experiencing the bad ones.
Yes, because you've got nothing to compare it with then, have you?
Yeah.
So you've got to have a bad one to know that you've done a good one.
You've got to take the PBs with the failed reps.
Yeah, thanks, Georgia. It's good.
Anything else?
Oh.
This is your opportunity, guys.
So what's Luke said about your goals and stuff. Next, you said you want to compete. Next year, do you have anything lined up for next year? Because obviously this year is kind of like a write-off.
Well, I don't have anything planned specifically. I just want to expose myself to as many things as possible. So when the competitions do start again, I'm just going to try to do as many as I can to get the experience. Obviously not completely dig myself into a hole and burn out, but experience it, because I've never done it before. I won't know what I'm good enough for, what I'm not good enough for. So just do as many as I can and put my toes in the water.
But do you see yourself ever owning your own place or running a place?
Gym?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I've talked about this with my boyfriend beforehand. We want to open up whether it'll be a CrossFit gym, who knows, but definitely having my own gym space will be pretty cool one day. I think so, yeah.
I think that'd be lovely.
I
would love my own gym space.
How would it be? I think it would be epic.
That would be so good.
Obviously, there's the business side to it, but in general, it would be cool.
Just hire someone for that.
So, Georgia, do you think you've learned a lot? I know sort of, it's the COVID experience, but do you think that you've learned more skills? Because I see all of you, not just you, but the whole team of you, you've taken on the internet challenge so well that it's above and beyond a fitness trainer, what you're all doing. So do you feel that you've actually grown from the whole experience as well?
I think so. I knew about Zoom beforehand because I said I had homeschool, so I knew how to work and all that jazz. This is how we used to have classes and stuff in cinema, so I knew that. But being able to coach over Zoom, I had no idea. Obviously, I'm quite a big personality, so trying to get that across to you guys, I wasn't sure how that was going to go down so well. But from that aspect, I've learned that. So going into the future, if this ever does happen again, I won't be nervous or concerned if I'd be able to do it or not. But otherwise, I haven't found it that challenging because I've been used to being by myself quite a lot and not being with other people a lot. That aspect I didn't struggle with. I think people that are used to being friends constantly, going out on weekends, they would have found that quite difficult. I didn't find that hard. So I can't really empathize with that. I understand people are finding it really difficult. My sister is, she hates it. But I have learned that, I don't know, I haven't found it that hard, to be honest. If I have to be honest. Yeah, I do miss being
like that. I think there are a few that are just sort of quite happy, sort of plodding along and going with the flow and doing their own thing, aren't they?
I don't let it get me stressed.
Yeah, I can tell. It's just when you fail at a workout.
Yes, then I get stressed.
Go on, Luke, you must have some more questions.
No, I think I just I thought Georgia was quite organised, so I thought there was going to be like a 5-year plan of, in 2 years I want to be comfortable doing local competitions on my own. In 5 years' time, I want to be at my first sanctional. That sort of. I thought that's the way she would be. I didn't realise she'd be so surfer dude, radical. Let's just chill out and enjoy it all the way, because she's quite intense in training, isn't she?
I don't know what you thought I was like, Luke.
Seeing you train like 6 hours a day and still think, I should maybe do another session, kind of reminds me of Bambi a little bit. But because you're that intent on training so much that you'd maybe have some sort of, I want this, hell bent I'm going to achieve this?
I think I might be more like that once I have a bigger understanding of how the competition world works. But until I have that experience, I wouldn't know. But I'm actually not very organized. Take things as it comes. But also, if I get too much structure into my life and it doesn't go as planned, so if I say in a year's time, I'm going to be here, if that doesn't happen, it seriously upsets me. I go off the rails massively so, and I stop enjoying things. So if I rather enjoy, and I know people tell this to me often, but enjoy the process rather than stressing myself out about it, I think I'll do better than if I say, this week I need to do this much, or that week I do that much, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair one.
Fair.
What's your favourite food?
Favorite food?
Protein bar.
So if I died tomorrow, what would I eat?
Well, no,
Yeah, your last meal.
Box of protein bars, probably.
What would I have? So you guys don't have it here, but I absolutely love ostrich biltong.
Oh.
No, Georgia, a meal, not a snack.
Oh, but that's okay. Last meal.
Your boyfriend was going to cook you your last meal. What would it be? Not a snack.
Ostrich biltong.
Yes, like biltong with
A side of protein bars.
yeah.
Alongside of protein bars. I don't know. I'm not a.
You must have some.
I would probably say any type of cereal would be my last.
What?
Right, next question.
She doesn't eat real food.
Or actually, no. Do you know what I would have? Massive piece of steak and sweet potato.
Oh, there we go.
But not your British steak.
You got
Not
that.
that. Pure South African steak.
What's
Like
the
steak.
difference?
South African is better.
They're amazing.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't realise.
God's sake, Jamie.
Georgia, nanos or Metcons?
Metcons.
Ooh, controversial.
Then, If you could give some advice, Georgia, to someone starting out new in training, whether it's like CrossFit, like sweat type stuff, what would that be? Like someone that's like a month into training.
Advice. I would probably, depends though. It depends whether they're doing it for competitive things or whether they're doing it for health benefits.
Health benefits.
So if it was someone that I knew, I would give them the advice of, you don't want to be a 50-year-old crawling around with a wheelchair. So do this so you can like absolutely crush life when you're older. You'll be able to live when you're older. You don't want to be frail and weak, and it might be intimidating now, but putting in the effort now is going to be so much more beneficial when you're older.
And what age would you say is old, Georgia? Bear in mind your audience. I can see Dave like smirking away while she's talking.
Old is just a concept of time.
Okay.
Well recovered. Well recovered.
I can see you, Dave, like smirking away. I was like,
Just the concept of time. Age is also relative to different things, because you could say the world is old, but relative to something else.
Yeah, but I liked the way you said 50 and then in a wheelchair. I mean,
I know. I was like,
it was just like, oh, all right, I'm fine.
But yeah, I would give that to advice. But someone that's never done it before, I would just probably say, enjoy it, experience it, see how you feel. Don't take it too seriously. And yeah, probably the best thing you'll ever do.
Cool. Anyone else? Any questions? B? No?
So you said you've got on with isolation quite well in general. So maybe there isn't really an answer to this question, but what have you found most challenging?
Most challenging.
If you're absolutely getting on with it fine, then that's a good answer as well, I think.
Initially, I found training quite challenging, because obviously when we train in the gym, you separate well, for us we don't, but for most people, you separate your home, where it's relaxed, chill, like you let your mind relax, and then it's gym. When you're at home, it's home and training at the same time. So get yourself into the swing of training in the same environment was a little bit weird. I wouldn't say challenging, it was a little bit weird to start off with. And what else? For me also, I get into my own head and I'll start overthinking things, and then being by myself, if anything does happen, I've got no one to break that train of thought. So if I start thinking negatively, I'll just go on the road and it becomes a bit of a shit show, where with other people, you can distract yourself from those thoughts. So that's also that's probably what I've learned the most, is being able to control your mindset, control your thoughts, and not let yourself get down about stupid things, and revert that course and think more positively.
So Georgia, you're such a hyperactive physical person and mental person. Not mental person, but physical.
I know what you mean.
How do you unwind? And do you unwind?
So I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on Zoom.
I don't know what you're
Where are you going with this?
No, so I use so if I want to relax, I will probably I'll put something on YouTube. I'll read a book. I'll do something like that, just to focus my thoughts on something else. Training used to be an unwinding thing for me. Now, obviously, that I train more often, I approach training as not a relaxation. I train it as something that I'm doing. Usually, I don't use that for my relaxation. But sometimes I'll do something where I don't take it seriously. I'll just move, and that's my unwinding. I'll speak to my boyfriend. That's also quite nice. But I'm very bad. I'll just shove everything into my brain and kind of let it just sit there. I don't normally.
So you're never still?
When I sleep.
Sure.
But it's a big downfall for me. I normally, then it just gets overwhelming. So that is something I definitely need to work on.
Oh, you're young anyway.
And there's things, well, I was going to say, but I'll be a bit, I won't say it like it is. In South Africa, there's a certain thing that's legal that used to, obviously because it's legal in South Africa, that was a massive help. It's not legal here, unfortunately. If you guys are catching my drift. It might be a bit it's a bit taboo subject to talk about, but that I found was able me to relax my brain quite a bit.
Okay. But now she's all about health and fitness and a healthy lifestyle.
It's not bad for you.
Not the subject. Cool.
Any other questions?
Finish on a high.
Pardon?
What a way to finish on a high.
Yeah. Oh gosh. That's fantastic.
What do you do most of your spare time? So you got a lot more probably spare time in your hands during lockdown. What have you been doing?
So I, surprise, have not actually been training 95% of my time. I've been doing a lot of reading up about things that I want to know about that I've never had time to know about before. and doing lots of that type of stuff. I always wanted to do a degree in mathematical sciences, so I started looking up that type of stuff. Haven't done it, but looking into it. Sorting out my nutrition, because it's not fantastic, getting that sorted out, spending a lot more time in that. And then speaking a lot more to my family, because obviously when we're working, we don't have lots of time to chat to each other. Even though it's over the phone, at least I get to spend more time communicating with them. And yeah, that's practically what I've been doing. Going for a lot more walks. I have not done any puzzles. I've not made banana bread.
You've been out on your bike.
Why not?
I can see a bike behind you.
So yes, I've got a bike there. So I've got a little indoor thingy thing. Been doing a bit of biking. And I've been challenged by my boyfriend to do a triathlon when this all opens up. So getting ready for possibly doing something along those lines. I'll die. I'll drown in the first part. But doing a little bit of that. Yeah.
But you're lucky because you're small enough you can practice in your bath.
Just sit there. Oh, that's fantastic. My dad always jokes with me because he's massively into cycling. He's going to get, what's it called? When there's two people on a bike? Tandem. We're going to do tandem cycling because he loves cycling. He used to do the Argus. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Big big race in South Africa, cycling race. And he still cycles now. He absolutely loves it. So he says, we're going to go do tandem racing. I'll be the little powerhouse at the back and he'll just do the steering at the front. Oh, gosh.
I've got to go, Georgia. Thank you very much.
Always my pleasure, Luke.
See you soon. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
You too, mate. Bye-bye.
But yeah, any other questions, guys? Now's your chance. Anything.
How have you been deciding what to eat? Is this all from personal knowledge, or have you been helped by some other resource?
So I work out all of my calories, macros, all of that jazz, and I will base what I eat off of that. I know some people don't like calculating calories. They think it's a bit of a mission, weighing food, all of that jazz. But for me, slight side topic, when I was really younger, I used to have anorexia and I would not eat at all. So for me, when I did CrossFit, that's also one of the other reasons I did CrossFit. It was a great way for me to put on a little bit of weight because I knew if I didn't eat, I would not perform when I trained. And then I didn't know what to eat, how much to eat. So that's when I started tracking my calories. For me, it works fantastically. I know what I can and can't eat. Not can or can't, but I know how much I can and can't eat. What I eat depends on the day, but I try stick 95% of the time to fresh food. Try not eat any processed stuff, bar protein bars. Because you've got to have your 80%, 20%, but it varies. I don't really stick to breakfast, lunch, dinner type of stuff. If I decide to have like chicken in the morning, I'll have chicken in the morning. If I have cereal in the evening, which 95% of the time happens, I'll have that then, because I guess it's food is food. But yeah, so that's how I eat. It works for me. Very flexible-ish.
So would you say, do you try and choose healthy foods, or if you really fancy something bad, you just go for it?
So, and this is quite a touchy thing, but when I was not in a very good state of mind with my food, I restricted myself to only eating certain things. And it's going to sound crazy, I don't crave naughty food just because I haven't eaten it in such a long time. I don't crave pizzas, don't crave burgers. I don't crave it because I don't remember.
Superhero, Georgia.
No, but it can be a massive downfall. For example, I don't like to go out to restaurants to eat because I won't eat You've probably noticed I haven't been on any of the Friday night bites because I won't eat that. I'm very strict with my food. So you might say it's a good thing. It is a massive downfall in other aspects. But I have my clean food that I'll eat daily. It is varied. There is a lot of variety to it, but it is super duper clean. But again,
no bagels then.
No.
Listen out, Dave.
Hey,
Listen
man,
out.
no.
But again, there's pros and cons to living that life, and I've got to deal with the cons, unfortunately.
I don't think so, because actually, I mean, I've not really ever had anorexia as such, but I think exactly like you with food. I'm not a foodie. So for me, food is to feed your body. It's not something that, I don't live to eat, I eat
To live.
That's it. I don't eat, I can't get it the right way around now, but I don't eat, I eat to live, not live to eat, if that makes sense. So,
you don't use it as a
I think everyone's different. Everyone has a different mindset to food, don't they? I think when you cook constantly for families, then it sort of go off cooking.
You don't want to. Saying that, I used to be massively into my food. I used to be a fat kid. I ate everything and anything. And then it kind of went like this and then that, and now I'm plateauing kind of. But yeah, you need to have variety though. So that is one big goal for me. That's something that I know when I come out of Corona, I'm going to try and put myself into situations where I don't have control over what I eat. So for some people, they use that, they are on the complete the other spectrum. I'm the complete opposite side. Don't wish for it. It's not fun.
Perfect the way you are, Georgia. You really are.
Thanks.
Hey guys, anyone else got anything? No?
Other than just to thank Georgia for being so honest, because I can imagine that some of the things you've talked about have been quite hard to bring up. And I really appreciate your honesty and sharing it with us, Georgia. So thank you very much.
Always my pleasure, guys. I think there's no reason to beat around the bush. If I speak about it, then it gives other people the opportunity to be comfortable to speak back to me. And if they want to use me for a point of reference or to help them with things that they're going through, there's no reason to hide it.
Ooh, cool. Well, thank you,
Can we all
George.
just throw Georgia a big kiss?
Kiss. Cool. Cheers, George.
All right, cheers, guys. Have a lovely day.
I'll see
Thank
you
you.
later.
Have a good day, guys.
Bye.